Let's talk about Alphabet first of all. You are a shareholder. What do you expect to hear from the company after the bell, and what are your longer-term expectations as a shareholder?
Well, a couple things with Google. Number one, we've already heard from Amazon and Microsoft about the rapidly growing cloud. And even though we think the cloud computing platform is ubiquitous, we are really at the early stages of the potential of owning a cloud platform. Google's in third place behind Microsoft and Amazon on the cloud, but that business is growing very nicely. We saw with Facebook the blowout on the advertising dollars, that they've grown the market there for small businesses and large businesses. Google is the other half of that duopoly, so I would expect that those numbers would be great. And I also think Google is well positioned for the long term, or Alphabet for the long term, with their investments in machine learning and artificial intelligence, among others.
You know, you mentioned that Microsoft had these great numbers that they reported. You're a shareholder in Microsoft shares, too. And I have to say, I was surprised to see the initial reaction from the street to be selling off shares of Microsoft after that report, because I didn't see anything in it that looked all that bad. How did you read it?
I read the same as you. I thought they were pretty solid numbers and very high growth numbers on the cloud. And Microsoft, as well as Amazon and their cloud, continue to gain more and more share of a very large enterprise software market number. That number is expected to grow about 8.5% this year to over $450 billion of the $3 trillion IT market. So you've got a really big growth market in software right now, specifically enterprise software, where Microsoft really shines.
Why does Facebook seem like a runaway train at this point, Ann?
Well, it seems to be going faster and faster, despite the challenges it has in growing up as a company. If you're in Silicon Valley, you know, there seems like there's a scandal a day, and I guess we're pretty close to it. So it really is up to Zuckerberg and company to really mold this into a long-term company. I'm really concerned about their long-term strategy. When I mentioned Alphabet and Microsoft and Amazon, these are companies where you can really see far into the future that they've laid tracks for really long-term, large platform businesses. And it's harder to see that with Facebook, even though right now they're performing extraordinarily well.
Although you own shares of Facebook, along with the others that you mentioned, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet, why do you own Facebook if they don't have that same sort of long-term strategy that you can see?
Well, I own it right now.
Ah. Hinting of what's to come. You're waiting to hear more?
Right now, I think Facebook has really shown that they can grow the advertising market. They don't have any competition in their core business. They are part of that duopoly in advertising platform. There's no way any major advertiser can't advertise on them. They're growing the rest of the world despite some up and downs in the U.S. and Canada. So right now, it's a stock to hold. We'll see in the future.
Hey, Ann, I don't know if you saw this headline. Tom was talking about it earlier. This speculation, not even speculation, really almost a speculative suggestion even from J.P. Morgan that Apple tried to buy Netflix. Would that make any sense to you?
I think Apple's got to do something really big. The gap between the saturation of their device business and the growth of their services business is pretty huge. They're sitting on a ton of cash. It would be a really bold move, and I think it would make a lot of sense. Whether they'll do it or not is another question.
If not Netflix, what? What would you like to see them do?
I don't know. I think Netflix makes a lot more sense than a gaming business, but I do think that they have to grow really fast in what they're doing in health. There might be an acquisition there. They also are looking at what they might do in more of the services space across all sorts of different pieces. I think any acquisition in the services space would make a lot of sense, be it in the healthcare space or be it in the entertainment space or streaming space like Netflix.
And very quickly, you only don't own two of the FAANG stocks. One is Apple. You just laid out why. You don't own Netflix either. Why is that?
You know, I don't really follow Netflix. I'm an enterprise software person. I really live in the enterprise software market every single day. Mm-hmm. So I look at companies like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Atlassian, Okta. these are companies in the enterprise software space that are more interesting to me than Netflix. They're growing in their market share in a very, very large TAM marketplace in enterprise software, where enterprises are rebuilding all their stacks from the development tools to the applications. So a company like Salesforce or ServiceNow is much more interesting to me than Netflix.